Commissioner, downtown Summerlin, we've all driven past this place a million times. It's here now. What does this mean to the community? What does this mean to Clark County?
You know, it's pretty extraordinary when we're still climbing that economic battle that the Howard Hughes Corporation would know that the timing was right and that the people in this area that moved here and the people around the whole valley are just incredibly grateful. I mean, I get calls every day that it's been open and it's exceeded the expectations of the valley. And so it's a wonderful place to come and walk, stroll. This morning you can see runners running up and down the streets. And then every day or about every week it seems like something new opens. So exciting. The energy here is just incredible. So great times for everyone.
And of course, when we see one of the largest non-gaming companies, probably the largest non-gaming company in Clark County, doing something like this, does this spur other economic development and other things in District F and across the Valley, Commissioner?
I really believe it does. You know, right before, as this was coming on and the momentum of it, we have IKEA, which hopefully we'll discuss in a little bit here, is another iconic company from Sweden that doesn't just pick any place to plop down part of their industry. So that's another exciting time that people see, from the Wet and Wild to the downtown Summerlin to all the shops to the people that went to work. You know, that's the extraordinary piece of this, that the workers getting it ready and viable to open, and now we have people every day coming to work, and so families are being affected, not just shopping, but being able to put food on the table.
The only criticism, I don't even know if that's the right word perhaps, about this place is people say downtown Summerlin, and they sometimes make fun of that. But as we both know, there's 200 acres just to the east of us, which Howard Hughes Corporation plans to develop, possibly a baseball stadium, a lot more residential areas. So this will actually become another downtown area in this part of the valley.
You know, I believe it's extremely appropriate. I've been looking at and speaking with the Hughes Corporation is maybe DMV would have a kiosk. Maybe the county would have, if there was a place for us, for people to pay some of their bills, water, power, gas, so that those that live within a 10-mile radius could come here. And so I think downtown Summerlin is a great name, a great moniker, and it makes a great statement.
And finally, Commissioner, what is the county's involvement? What did you have to do? How does the county get involved in a project as massive as this?
You know, what we do is we look at development agreements. And so Summerlin has a major development agreement for over 20 years ago. And as they proportioned what they would do, where would housing be, where would shopping be, where would apartments be, because all those are homes to people. A house is a structure, an apartment isn't a structure. When people live there, it turns into their home. So downtown Summerlin will end up being a work, live, play environment, which I think does go along with the downtown factor. You'll be able to live 2 blocks from here, 1 block from here, and walk to everything you want to do. So as far as you know, emission control, as far as safety, it's going to be right here. So I think it's really a great futuristic plan that it's here today.
Commissioner, a few months ago, and you touched on this earlier, probably one of the world's most iconic home furnishing stores, IKEA, is getting set to break ground, and in District F. Talk about that.
Yeah, District F is home to so much. It's really pretty extraordinary. And it does go across a very economic factor here. It does have from the very, very rich to those that need help and are trying to improve their areas. And so I enjoy that aspect of District F. As you said, from the rurals to the major metropolis is pretty exciting. But IKEA studied this. About a year ago they came in and they called it the Silver Project, and there was no name to it. No one knew. My staff did not know because they wanted it to be viable before they would start just throwing out their name. But there are 100,000 people in the area here that already go online to IKEA. So they look at that demographics before they move forward. And so they are coming what we call the curve near Durango and Sunset. They're supposed to start in March, turning some land. And so the process, just as you stated here, what do? We work along with the development people. Do they have the right zoning in place? Is it the right atmosphere to have it? Will they be able to complete it? The developers that I work with know, and the consultants, that bring a project that's viable. We don't want to see what happened, you know, 10, 11, 9 years ago and the structure remained. Ironically here, remember when we did the capsule for the 100 years? I and my staff came here and we took pictures of the ironwork so that people could see what it was then and what it would be in the future. So it's incredible that that future was so quickly.
Commissioner, let's talk a little bit about another place you have a very personal interest in, Mountain's Edge. Recently, we broke ground on the first 18 acres of the Mountain's Edge, a regional park coming into your area. Talk about that a little bit.
You know, that's extraordinary. That was with the help with our senator and with Commissioner Sisolak. The three of us worked very hard to be able to not take anything away from someone else, but when there was extra funding to get $8 million and that 18 acres, honestly, I get a call throughout the week of how dynamic it is. It's very interactive. It's a wellness fitness park. A student named it the Mighty Mountain Fitness Park in Mountain's Edge. So it's extraordinary. I would encourage anyone for your walking, for your biking ability, for your kids have their own little village and town to play in, to a fitness area that has elliptical machines, pull-up bars, it's just incredible. So I'm excited that it's there now. It was a lot of hard blood, sweat, and tears, quite frankly.
Well, as you said, Mr. Ritter, the developer of Mountain's Edge, has given personal credit to you and Commissioner Sisolak and the rest of the Board of County Commissioners. Also at that park, the number of the school kids put those tiles on that wall, that's the most amazing thing, one of the most amazing elements I've seen in any park that Clark County has built.
Well, that's why I like to do the contest that a child names the park within that region and that area. And then we did to where they could say, what does a park mean to them? And so those share the children. And that's what our parks, even though we use them from 1 year to 100, the children have a great good time knowing ownership. They take care of it better. So, and we have huge seating areas, which people ask for all the time. So it really has a personalization to it that makes them feel a part of it, and that's very important within the community.
Gypsum Ridge Trail, let's bring us up to date on what's going on there. It's going to be, probably one of the most unique parks in Clark County.
It's going to be very hiker, biker friendly, and then we'll continue on with what we can do there. We did get some SNPLA money, the Southern Nevada Land Act money, and so Howard Hughes knows that in their section 17 that they just broke apart, A and B, that we need access, and so we're working on that with them, which they're a good partner, so that our bikers and our hikers and our walkers would be able to have accessibility and ADA accessibility also. We know that's always very important. So a very other item in District F that is going to be over the top, and we have some partial funding for that.
And you took that to the community. I know you've had a number of public meetings, and you asked residents what they wanted to see in that park, in that area.
Absolutely, and that's why the Mountain's Edge Park, the same thing. What do you want? What do you need? But what's great, I'll go back to that just for a moment, on the Mountain's Edge Park, you have a basketball ability from probably a 3-year-old to traditional height that you can do, throwing baseballs, ice hockey. I mean, it's extraordinary. People are saying they want that now in their area.
Commissioner, something that's changed since we've last talked has been the proliferation, or I guess a new business in town, medical marijuana.
Yes.
And as we speak and sit here now, you of course sent your recommendations to the state, and now there seems to be a little bit of disconnect. Bring us up to date on what you think is going there and what you think is going to happen in the future.
You know, it's very challenging, and it was truthfully, in all honesty, it was very disappointing. All commissioners worked very, very, very hard. The county worked hard, business license, comp planning. Everyone got together. I probably spoke with 60 to 80 different people. And with those 18, we felt were super viable. Now the state has recommended only 10 of those 18. That is a factual information. And they came up with 8 others. Out of those 8 others, which this is just iconic, this does not happen. Out of the 7 of us, not one person voted for 4 of those 8. And to me, that's very telling, because when do the 7 of us have that kind of an agreement? So, and I mean that very lovingly, but it's true. So I think the state needs to look at that. I believe they gave us the task. We took that task on. We worked hard throughout the county, everyone that touched that project, and I would encourage them to look at what they did. Nothing against the ones that we didn't pick. We didn't deny anyone on purpose due to the fact that they could come back at another time. But I feel like when we make decisions, we need to stand by them. I like to stand by my word, and I've done that throughout my 8 years in the district. And so I think that the state needs to look at that and give us the credibility that we deserve.
Do you think this is going to end up in court, Commissioner?
I think it has a high probability that it would end up in court, and I don't blame everyone on whatever side they're on, but I believe we did it with honesty and integrity and transparency, and that we should be allowed to continue that as we started on it.
And bottom line, as we head into the new year, this is getting the medicine out to the people, which is the whole purpose of why medical marijuana is in the state of Nevada now, right?
Absolutely, and medical is important. You know, my feeling is I think the recreational shouldn't be for 6 to 8 years, if ever. I believe medically it's been proven how it works and what it does for people that have cancer, glaucoma, epilepsy. And I think that we need to make sure this has a foundation before we move any further.